right, guys. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're joining from. My name is Prateek Agrawal. I'm from IvyProSchool. And today we have a very interesting talk, and we have a very seasoned digital analytics professional with us as well. So the discussion that we will have today is with the advent of AI, ChatGPT, how's advanced marketing analytics teams are getting redesigned, what new skills you need to become a AI-driven digital analytics professional. Plus, we will also conclude with some use cases of AI in the digital marketing space. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Please click on the bell button so that you can get to know more about such industry talks in the analytics industry. So thank you again, guys, for joining us. And let me introduce my guest today, Mr. Naveen. Mr. Naveen brings in 23 years plus experience in the digital analytics driven marketing industry. And he has helped several Fortune 100 companies set up digital strategies, digital marketing strategies, performance driven or data driven marketing strategies. So Naveen, thanks a lot for joining in today. And just wanted to ask you that how did you get into digital marketing space or performance driven marketing space, if you can share some light on that.
Sure, thanks, Prateek, for having me. So my me getting into digital analytics and marketing analytics is almost by accident to start with. So if you think back in times when we were graduating, everything was engineering, everything was development. So I was trained to do that. I was trained to be developer. So I set out my journey in that direction, like everybody tried to. And back then, obviously, if you remember, then there was a slump and Web 2.0 was ending and it was kicking off, and there was a lot of change. And so by luck, I got into marketing analytics back in the company called America Online, which started in Bangalore. And because I got trained in managing databases and working on back then SaaS and other softwares. So I got hired into this role. And once I got in, I just loved it. Loved doing marketing analytics, and I didn't look back. And one of the things which I even tell my team now when I bring them on board is marketing analytics is like the investigator and spy put together, right?
Right.
It's like an ultimate 007 role where you're trying to solve problems, trying to investigate things, and also look for what is competitor doing, how is market changing, and you're preparing for all that. So it's a very exciting, always changing, dynamic role. So yeah, I think that's how I got my start, and here I am.
Very good, very inspiring, Naveen. And I'm sure everybody now knows that all the Fortune 100 companies are investing a lot of money into digital marketing. Of course, they've been doing it for ages, and they also have a very strong strategy in place to analyze the data thrown out by digital marketing tools that they use. And so, of course, they have a very established data analytics and data engineers and data science teams, either internally or externally. But with the advent of AI, the advent of ChatGPT, a lot of things are fluidic now, right? A lot of things are getting changed rapidly, transformed rapidly. So I wanted to understand, you've been helping Fortune 100 companies significantly in this space. So what changes are you seeing in the skills? What changes are you seeing in the use cases of AI in the digital analytics industry? If you can shed some light.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's no other better time to get into market analytics than now, right? I mean, it's an amazing time, not just with AI, but I think the audience behavior is, we see a lot of changes in that post COVID. The need to digitization has been never stronger with organizations. So marketing analytics gets to be in the front row in all this journey. So it's an amazing time to be. And I think AI is starting to make a lot of changes, right? So, and AI is not new. It's not now. Like AI has been, industries have been using AI and machine learning for a while, but a lot of it has been in the production side of it and back-end side of world, right? So if you take, for example, the banking side, right? They've been using AI in the customer side for a very long time, how to retain and drive customer. But it's not been used in the marketing as much till now, right? Because of various reasons, because of the amount of, the data changes every day. So you don't have enough of historical data to do large, significant analysis. And it's always been a challenge. I think now with ChatGPT and sort of generative AI and pre-trained models, it's become very easy to use them in your marketing as well. And so we're starting to see more inclusion of that side in marketing, where you can quickly do analysis, quickly able to drive decisions with data. And I think it's going to be very exciting from now on. So it's definitely a major change starting.
So tell me, Naveen, see, I mean, digital marketers have been using data analytics for ages. I mean, ages in the sense, I mean, at least for almost a decade now.
Yeah.
So, for example, we do a lot of A/B testing on our digital marketing ads and whatnot. So how's those things changing with the AI, with the help of AI? I mean, do we even need to do A/B testing now, or you just ask the AI and then it kind of gives the responses and saying that this is the right ad or this is the right combination of ads that you should run?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's funny that you take the example of A/B testing, because at least we've been seeing one of the major impacts in that field. Right, till now, A/B testing for it traditionally has been A and B, and then it went to multivariate, and then it went to few hundred combination. I think with AI, you can run so much more tests parallelly, right? With minute changes, right? For example, we've been trying to see, hey, if the image on your banner, and if there is this person who's looking left versus right, how does that impact people's perception? A slight change in color, a slight change in design, which used to take a lot of time before, right? You have to run it for a long time and look for results and all that. And with AI, I mean, those tests have become so fast and so quick, and the AI is able to also change, those combinations and try it again. And so I think A/B testing has seen a significant use of, especially these fields in recent past. And I think it's only going to boom. So I think that's one of the.
So tell me, a lot of people get scared. What would happen to my job? I used to do A/B testing. I used to analyze the data myself, and I would create reports, and then I would send it to the clients, or I would send it to my N+1s to kind of with my own analysis, right? But now, am I required anymore?
Yeah, I think I read this somewhere, which was very apt. It's the ChatGPT will not take your job. The guy using ChatGPT will take your job, right? So it's not about the algorithm who takes away, but I think more and more you get used to that tool and start using it. I think that's going to be a key result. And one of the things I would like to share with you, recently in our organization, we did a hackathon on trying to use generative AI to solve for business problems.
Okay.
And I think 70% of the respondents who sort of participated and created engine had not written one line of code till today. So they have used generative AI, ChatGPT to ask and build the entire engine to solve certain problem just with prompts, right? And that's how powerful it has become. So I think definitely, the landscape is going to change as we go along. Technology is going to become easier. But I think we are looking for people who can use this technology smartly to drive problem. So there will be a shift, but it's not to be scared of. But you need to adopt and learn the new tools and move forward.
So Naveen, what I understand is you belong to a very renowned global digital marketing analytics consulting company, iQuanti, and you work with significant number of other Fortune 100 companies as well. What I want to understand is that with AI and ChatGPT, or with whatever is happening in the recent world of advanced analytics, what are the skills that you look for when you are hiring a young data analyst for your digital marketing analytics team now?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. There are two ways to think about it, right? And the second way is just starting to come now. Traditionally, if when you look for marketing analytics skills, and there's no one skill, there are so many skills, right? You need people who can handle huge volume of data engineers, quality analysts, and data modelers. Then you have statistical modelers. Then you have visualizations, people who work in BI. So there's a bunch of things that you look for when you look for marketing analytics folks. And that's how it's been, right? Now you look for these skills, these are people with the depth based on your requirement, and you hire. I think what's changing now is, like I said, right, it's become so easy to write a piece of SQL code today, however complex it might be, just by using, chatting with ChatGPT, for example. It's so easy to put together, query to analyze data, and it's so easy to build a table, right? We were just messing around with it. So for example, one example is how do you take two disparate data sources and merge them? And it used to take a person sometimes days and weeks to figure it out. Now AI is able to do it in mere seconds. So I think that is going to change. I think as we journey together in next few months and few years, that's going to drastically change. Where you don't have to learn SQL as much, but if you know how to use the generative AI and have the understanding of how things work, you will be able to get through. So at this point, yes, you will still need to learn because industry is changing, but you need to learn how to use generative AI with your SQLs and Power BIs and others, so that you sort of as it changes, you adapt to it. Hope that yeah.
Ravi, yeah, good that you mentioned that, that how a person who knows SQL, maybe fundamental or foundation, right, can become much faster with the help of generative AI, and a lot of other tools that you spoke about. But I want to understand, performance marketing or digital analytics used to be one of the highest paying jobs in the data analytics industry for a person who's starting up, right?
Yeah.
Other than a typical data scientist and those kind of things. So do you think that landscape is going to change, that's going to impact the salaries that these young folks were getting, who had a little bit of digital marketing experience, good amount of data analytics vocational skills? Do you think that landscape will also change, or the salary structure and all of that would change? What do you think?
No, I think that might not impact, at least the way I see it, and we can never say never, but I think it's the way it'll change is now the expectations will become much more, right? So today I have these verticals of people who can do specifics. I have a people who can only handle data. I have a people only who can do model. I have a set of people who do market research. I think slowly it starts to become merged, because now for example, like I was saying, the example of the hackathon. Now a guy who is familiar with market research can put together a database fairly quickly, right? So I think it's going to start to look very different. Landscape is starting to look different. Then the expectation also become higher from an average marketing analyst. That eventually should lead to also better compensation, because now I'm a multitasking, right? I'm not just doing market research. I'm able to put together a database and create a personalized engine which can deliver to my clients. So I think it's going to morph into that, and I think it's going to, like I said, I think it only get better as things go. But I don't think so it will impact drastically as soon, right? Market will evolve to that.
Tell me one more thing, Naveen. So if I understand the entire process of digital analytics or digital marketing driven analytics, so the first thing is that, in a layman's term, right, you decide a strategy. So you have a product, right, that you want to throw in front of a target audience. So you identify the customer persona, and then you define, you identify the right channel. Maybe it is some kind of social media platform, maybe it is a search-based platform, or maybe it is a personalized email-based campaign, whatever. So you decide on a campaign, you decide on the channels, you create multiple ad groups, and you start the ads, and then you start analyzing the data, right? And so you need multiple skills here, right? You need somebody who understands the marketing, who understands how marketing is driven. I mean, she's done traditional marketing, right, which is 5 Ps and 4 Ps, whatever people say. Mm-hmm. Then you need people who understand digital marketing, people who can actually understand how campaigns are structured on social media platforms and search campaigns and so forth. You need creative guys who can write the content, right, the copies and all of that. And then you need data analytics professionals or data science professionals who can analyze the data being thrown from multiple campaigns, bring them together. Then you need data visualizers or data storytellers who can analyze the data, build reports, and then present in front of the decision makers to see the impact of the campaign. Now, in this entire journey, right, if I were to say that which phase is being driven or is getting impacted more because of AI and ChatGPT. So which phase, or maybe all the phases, are getting impacted? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think almost all the phases are getting impacted, but in different levels, right? So for example, campaign execution, behind some of the major platforms like Facebook and Google, AI has always been there. So it's using AI to, optimize the campaign, and you're using its engine to optimize your campaign. So I think that is already there, right? Content and creative, recently, you've seen that AI is starting to impact it fairly, right? So DALI and other content writer, generative AI is able to put together content fairly quickly. And then we have also started using it. Now, the way it works is obviously it's not replacing, it increases your productivity. Now I'm fairly quickly able to put together 10, 15 pieces of content. Then obviously you need a human intervention to see if it works, right? Does it work with my audience? So there is that increase in productivity. And when it comes to sort of campaign optimization, one of the things we are trying to do is how to create, BI platforms which are like truly interactive in an English language, right?
Okay.
That, and instead of me trying to write queries or using pivots, can I just ask it question based on my data and it's able to answer me? So I think it's impacting all the fields in some various levels and manners. And yeah, I think sooner or later everything is going to use AI in some fashion or another to increase productivity.
So everybody is going to become AI enabled, right?
Yeah.
I was buying a refrigerator yesterday, and the guy said that, sir, this connects with AI.
Yeah.
AI. Everything was AI. The patches, the banners, the stickers on the refrigerator was AI, this, AI, that. So of course, everybody is becoming AI enabled. So that brings me to the next segment. So if you are of course, you are pretty senior now in the value chain. But let's say if you're setting up a 100-member team, for catering to various digital marketing and digital analytics skills, what kind of structure would you recommend to that manager? What should be the right structure? And then probably we'll talk also about a little bit what kind of recruitment practices now, rounds that you would now recommend to that manager. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think, if you want to set up a marketing analytics team, I think one of the most important, item is to set the goal, right? To start with, what are you trying to solve for? What is the team trying to solve for? Yeah, they're trying to, increase engagement in your site, increase conversion. I think that becomes very important because everything else follows that question. And once you're able to answer that and nail it, then your next question would be to what skills I need to solve for this, right? Does it need statistical modeling? Does it need building databases? Does it need building APIs to extract data? So then you get a sense of what skill sets you need. And then obviously then you go hire for those skill sets, from various sources. I think if you ask me, those three are the easiest things to do in the sort of process. And now the fun starts after that, once you have the team. Because now you're setting, how do you make them productive? How do you increase their efficiency? So having a sort of a strong learning culture is very important in this side. And the market is always changing. It's very dynamic, right? And you have to keep learning and have to keep yourself updated constantly. So having a good learning culture makes it very important. So either create an internal training program or partner with an agency like yours, where you're sort of working on that and having a constant process of that. And also one of the things where I see many people have, they focus on tech skills that they do you know stats and modeling, BI visualization, but most of them that don't focus on the softer skills of things. I mean, very important for marketing analytics. Right? Are you able to put together a story? Can you present your story effectively to your stakeholder? Right? Curiosity, right? One of the most important things for us is curiosity. Are you able to look at, investigate things structurally and come up with insights? Right? This old ads, if you remember, I think it was MasterCard, which this priceless ads. Remember back in the day? I keep telling that, right? Data is in petabytes and reports are in gigabytes. And then one recommendation out of it is priceless, right? I think sort of creating that kind of soft skill training is also very important. Storytelling, right? Presenting, because everything else is almost useless if I'm not able to convince my stakeholders or clients with that. So once you do that, then you followed by setting up your infrastructure. So obviously invest in servers and data and BI tools and other things. And then the next thing is also very important is to build processes, right? SOPs, processes, structures, your checklist, your business logics, and sort of your communication cadence. All that is very important in this whole thing, right? One of the ways in iQuanti we have solved, for example, is every scenario we have created decision trees. So an analyst can look at it and say, hey, here's the question that my client asked me or my seniors asked me. They can pin up on the decision tree and it tell you how it translates downwards. And it can get them fairly quickly to the action. And also, it helps them not miss anything because of the time pressure. So you have to create those SOPs, in your process. And the other most important thing is keep them very close with marketing teams, right? A disjointed analytics team is absolutely no use for anybody because you're trying to solve for something marketing is driving. So having them very close with them, almost, just pairing up an analyst with a marketing, your marketing managers will help them, right? Because then they're very productive together. So I think if you ask me, those are some of the most important things.
Very good. Suppose if I'm a young aspirant, right? I apply at, let's say, iQuanti. So tell me, what kind of interview process that you would follow? An ideal interview process. I'm not even saying that, whatever iQuanti follows right now, but what is the ideal interview process? I'm applying for a analytics, digital analytics role within, let's say, a company like iQuanti or any such similar company. So what kind of rounds that I would go through, if you can put it structurally, that'd be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you say, it changes. It's different from different companies. It's also different from different requirements. Right. So for example, if I'm hiring for somebody who is a data engineer, right? So typically, at least in iQuanti, we start with what's called a discovery connect, right? It's about half an hour. Usually a senior member of the team joins. So just to align, does this make sense, right? We don't want to spend hours and hours. They later realize that, hey, this is probably not a good fit, right? Mutually also, it's not just one-sided, right? It should be beneficial for the candidate as well. So usually spend about half an hour just chatting about, hey, what do you like, what you don't like? So we get a sense of where it could go. And then after that, it gets into more technical discussion. So if it is a technology-centric role, it gets into sort of case study building. We get into live tests. We have also used sort of tools to go through that, multiple option tests. We do that. And once people get past that, then you have a sort of a multi-panel case discussion. So how did you go about it? Just to understand their thought process. And then it sort of, gets, continues from there. If I'm hiring for somebody who's more marketing side of, like, who is doing research, who looks at sort of presentation, that side of the team, then it will be a lot more discussion, right? How do you optimize the campaign? What are some of the things you have done in the past to optimize campaigns? So it's a lot more longer discussions to understand thought process and capability of a person, right? Not about skills, it's more about how you handle things. So it's I think it's very different from different.
One more role, if I may ask, because a lot of our learners as well get into that role, which is they have learned data analytics skills, SQL, Power BI, storytelling, and all of that. And then some of these guys have learned digital marketing somewhere or whatever, they have that interest in it, and they have gotten into. So, but there are a lot of people who want to get into digital analytics, but they do not know whether only data analytics skills are required, or do we need more as well? So what kind of skills that you would recommend, or what kind of interview that you would have for somebody who's not applying for data engineering position and not applying for a typical digital marketing position, somewhere in between digital analytics position?
Absolutely. I think that's a great question. Now, obviously, like I said, digital marketing analytics is a broad umbrella. There is, literally hundreds of tools inside that, right? And one cannot learn everything, right? Even after so many years, I don't know many of the tools. So if you're starting, let's say pick one tool and technology which you feel that you have that strength. If you're very good in development, if you have a very keen eye, get into a development side or engineering side of data engineering side of it, right? Very able to develop. If you feel like, hey, I'm generally very curious, type of person, get into a little bit more on marketing, the research side of side, right? And if you think you have some people have a good mix of creative bend and also, they like handling data. Those are some of the good visualizers we have. We're able to take a data and put together a good story. So you can get into visualization. So pick one area where you want to start. Take training, take certification, get really good at that. Do, if you even don't have a project, do it for a friend. I interviewed a guy who set up Google Analytics for his friend's restaurant. And I thought, no better way than to learn, right? I mean, you didn't pay for it, but I mean, you have a very good case study to talk about. So, figure out how you want to test it. I'll just stick to one. I would not recommend because then you really can talk about it. Start from one place and then spend time, and an organization like iQuanti and many others will give you ample opportunity to learn and explore. But I would say stick to one, start with one, get into the system, and then you can explore.
One, we've spoken about a lot of things in today's discussion, but if I were to ask you to conclude, right, I mean, and give some long-lasting food for thought for the audience who are interested in the digital marketing analytics space, what kind of a food for thought that you would want to give to the audience?
Yeah, I think yeah, I think, like I said, it's no better time to be in marketing analytics than now, and not just for new candidates, people who have like a lot of times we look for people from marketing side who are able to handle data, because that's also very important for us. So it doesn't matter if you're starting new or you have some experience in content, SEO, doesn't matter. Right? You can get into the space now. There's no restriction of such. And like I said, there are many areas. It's not one field. So based on your capability, you can start your journey. And like I said, at this point with generative AI and doing things has become fairly easy. All you need to do have that investigative mind. And it's definitely a field for somebody who is curious, who's always willing to learn, and always being challenged. There's no status quo. Things always changes here. So I think if you have that kind of mindset, and if you have that kind of behavior and attitude, I think it's a great place to be. Very rapidly growing, and like you said, it's a well-paid area as well. And yeah, I think iQuanti is definitely one of the organizations which is looking for people like that, and which is growing rapidly as well. I'm sure many other organizations. So yeah, it's a right place to be in at this point.
Sure. Thanks a lot, Naveen, for your for your wisdom, insights on how advanced marketing analytics teams are getting should be redesigned, restructured, what skills are required in today's time to excel as an AI-enabled performance marketer or an AI-enabled data analytics person working in the digital marketing space. Naveen, you spoke a lot of things, but I really like a couple of important things you mentioned. Having curiosity, the ability to tell stories, the ability to present the fact that people find convincing, that those skills are not going to be taken over by any AI, and that's a human-driven skill. So if you are in the data industry at all, I think one of the very important key food for thought that Naveen gave today is that be curious, be hungry about telling stories, and be very, very good in understanding the problem and then being able to define the solution with the help of your curiosity. Thanks a lot, Naveen, for joining in today. And please do follow Naveen on his LinkedIn profile. You can find him, Naveen Kumar, iQuanti on LinkedIn. And also do not forget to subscribe to IvyProSchool's YouTube channel. Thank you guys, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye. Thank you, Naveen.
Thank you, Prateek. Thanks, guys.